So this theory lesson on crime and deviance is going to focus on Marxist theories of crime. Before that, here are 5 questions about subcultural explanations of crime based on Albert Cohen's work. So read them, look at the last video if you need to, answer the questions please. So, what do Marxists think about crime? Of course, they blame capitalism and what they call consumerism. Yeah, let's crack on. So remember, capitalism is a system where we compete for money. Yeah, it's meant to be a meritocracy where it's an equal competition. So you have all these competition for money. There are rules, laws to say what you can and can't do. And so some people win and some people lose. And that can cause some anomie. Some people lose. They still want money, but they're told they can't have money because they're working class. So that causes anomie, strain. And to lots of Marxists, they would say, well, if that's the system where we're competing for money, therefore crime is completely reasonable and completely rational. Because capitalism has taught us you must have money to be a worthwhile person. How has capitalists done this? It's through consumerism. Capitalists, big companies, need us to constantly buy new things from them to make them rich. They use the power of advertising to constantly convince us that we need new things. Our phone works just fine, but no, forget that. You've got to spend $1,000 on a new phone, even though your current phone works fine. So we're constantly trying to convince that we need to have new things. If you haven't got the money for those things, you may well steal to get those things. Marxists go further. They say, look, let's look at laws. Let's look at the laws and the police. The middle class, the bourgeoisie, use their hegemony to control all this. They make the laws that are mostly around about private property. You can't have this. This belongs to me. The bourgeoisie are the ones with the private property. So they've constructed a system that protects their interests. And if people rise up against it, like in the riots, start stealing things, they're dealt with very harshly by the police and the courts, because they're threatening the hegemony of the bourgeoisie. The police and the courts are just, really to a Marxist, they're just the bully boys and the jailers of the bourgeoisie. Leading on from that is something called social power. A man called William Shamblin did some work on this in Seattle in the 1970s. So look, the bourgeoisie commit lots of crimes, serious crimes that get them a lot of money, and they are successful at covering it up. They use their power to make these things go away. They commit serious white-collar crimes and have no repercussions because they're the ones with all the power. They're the ones telling the police, investigate the poor black people, don't investigate the rich white people. An example of this from our recent history in our community is the tram crash. So you might say the fact that the tram company didn't have safety features on here caused the death of those people. They had the wrong sort of glass, bus glass. The tram was able to go too fast around that corner. There was no software to stop it. And yet, when all this happens, the tram driver, proletariat, gets arrested. The people who run the tram company, what they've done is not even a crime. That is social power. You've arranged the world to protect you and your interests. Marxists are often criticised, though, for ignoring this. The working class are accused of being criminals, but also, in a definite fact, that the working class are often the victim of criminals. And that to the working class, crime's a big deal because it affects their lives disproportionately. If you're working class, you're way more likely to be robbed on the way home, way more likely to be burgled. So the working class are the victims of crime. Yeah, so it should be taken seriously. In the last decade or so, current day Marxists have developed the theory a bit, and they say, well, look, actually what crime is in some cases is a form of rebellion. This anomie that people get, the thefts they occur is a form of rebellion. They are fighting back against a capitalist culture that they don't agree with.